because we're not recording yet. So now we're live, and I'm hoping this is going to be live, so people can hear us. Well, they can hear me, but they can't hear you guys yet. Oh no, are we live? Oh. Okay, let me go live on this. So we're live. This is, you guys are watching the Daniel and Georgia show behind the scenes as we get ready to go live. Go into videos, and to our Zoom people, I put the live stream page, specialchronicles.com/watch/live is there, and in a minute it will be live on the website, and so people can watch us. There we go. So we're live. You guys can see all of our participants. We've got a nice black and white picture of Georgia and me, our new show outlook, the Daniel and Georgia Show. Go to DanielandGeorgia.com. DanielandGeorgia.com. And you can watch us. I think we're live. There you go. And I just got a new text number, so people can text me at 630-280-3082. That's 630-280-3082, and you can join my new text community list. Text me one-on-one. Okay. I'm gonna unmute you guys. Are you all there?
Yes.
I'm still here.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and tone that down, and we're going to go ahead and hit record on the Zoom so we can make sure that's recorded. And we've got that going, and we have open up the script, because I don't know, why did I close? Babe, why did you make me close the script?
I didn't say anything.
You made me close it. It's a joke. Okay. That's it there. Are we ready? We're going to do a quick improv, theme song, welcome, intro, introduce guests, and we'll go from there. So it'll be, babe, I think we're going to do kind of the same segments, but it'll be a little bit. It won't be the same segments as we always. It'll be different, because we'll be sticking with the we're just gonna go in the order of the script, that the text. Does that sound good, Georgia, babe? Yeah. And Dan and Anika, does that sound good? We're gonna go in the order of this.
Sure.
That sounds good. Let's get it.
Okay. Are we ready? So, babe, do you want to give me a countdown, and then I'm gonna hit? Oh wait, hold on. Let me hit record on this. And on the Zoom thing. And there we go. And 3. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am.
Let me feed you a grape again.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I feed you a grape through Zoom?
I don't know.
We'll make it up. It'll be delivered to you by the time we finish the show.
Okay.
And in the show, the Daniel and Georgia Show, season 3, episode 2, Love Warriors, is about to begin in 3, 2, 1.
I didn't know that you had a crush on me. How did I never see all that we could have been? High time we turned the pages, start a story for the ages. High time we got it going on.
Coming up on the Daniel and Georgia Show, Season 3, Episode 2, Love Rodeos. Coming up right now on SpecialChronicles.com. Welcome back to the Daniel and Georgia Show, Season 3, Episode 2. My name is Daniel from SpecialChronicles.com and DanielandGeorgia.com. Oh, wait, hold on. I should unmute you. I'm Daniel from SpecialChronicles.com and DanielandGeorgia.com.
And my name is Georgia. I'm his cutest true love.
This show is going swimmingly. And it's so good to be back. This is going to be a different episode of the Daniel and Georgia Show than usual, right?
Yes.
Because we're back on Zoom. And instead of our typical segments, what's different about the show?
We have two of my amazing guests that we have. They're from OK. One of them is from the OK Farm, Aniki, and all the way from down under is Dan Emmons.
Down under? He's from Australia?
No, that was a side joke.
Oh, it's a side joke.
Yeah.
Welcome, Anika and Dan, to the Daniel and Georgia Show.
Thank you for having us.
So to kind of kick it off in a fun way, do you want to let us in on that inside joke? And by us, I mean us and our, hundreds and thousands of listeners.
Okay.
Either Georgia or Dan.
I'm not really a joke type person.
Well, I've known G a long time, right? So we go back several years through Opportunity Knocks and just grow up Oak Park community.
Awesome. Well,
she was.
You're cutting in and out there a little
for
bit.
a while earlier this year.
Awesome.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, my connection's a little spotty.
Yeah, we can hear you. And if people hear some chickens in the background, that's all. That's a typical sound that you have in your call.
I'm working as a farmer right now.
I guess with everything going on, any job, including taking care of chickens, is a job, right?
Definitely. Chicken driver, right?
Chicken. A chicken Uber driver? A chicken Uber driver?
By the afternoon.
Yeah. So.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Dan and Anika, just so you guys know, George and I actually, if you listen to this week's shows, our season 3 premiere, you actually can hear us text you, Dan, live on the air, and as we were going through these questions. And then we thought, why are we asking ourselves these questions? Like, you guys should be asking us the questions. Right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what we would like to do.
So babe, did you want to say anything else in this intro? Oh. Yeah. No, say that, and then we'll do something that we forgot to do at the beginning of the show.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say welcome to Dan and Aniki. I hope you guys will have fun doing this segment.
Doing this episode, yeah.
Yeah, it has already begun, Georgia.
Yeah, the fun has begun. And with that, we just want to take a moment to thank our supporters and sponsors. Quick moment. And so I probably should send the script to Georgia so we can both take turns of reading it. But I'll just go ahead and read this. So, support for the Daniel and Georgia Show and Special Chronicles is brought to you by listeners like you. Please support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give. Support for Special Chronicles is also brought to you by our Patron supporters. Becoming a patron gets you exclusive access to bonus cast, a patron-only podcast with bonus features. Subscribe to either an annual season pass, mini-series 2-month pass, an episode 1-month pass, or a day pass. Join today and select your private streaming plan today at specialchronicles.com/bonuscast, specialchronicles.com/bonuscast. And support for Special Chronicles is also made possible thanks to a grant from the ComEd Energy Force program, the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for taught by people with disabilities. To learn more about how ComEd is powering lives at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. And you can also join our new Text to Give supporters by texting GIVE to 833-953-2598. That's 833-953-2598. And you can text the word GIVE and donate. And as I read a text from our video producer, should we get the show continued on?
Yeah.
Oh, and we look awesome! Our video producer have us on his flat screen computer. So, awesome. So, with that, as we finish, get on, how do we transition this, babe?
Sorry, what?
How do we transition into the first part of this Love Warriors episode? I think that will be the title.
I don't know.
So, this was something that, babe, you had texted me, I think, when I was working last week. And the three of you guys were on, I've got it printed, like a text.
Yeah, so that was just a couple of days ago. The three of us technically, Dan and Aniki only did the list of questions. And I was surprised in the way that they were doing that.
Yeah.
So we actually had a meeting about what the questions would be like, and we were talking about how we become a warrior and how to become a different side of us, sort of thing. And
just so Dan and Aniki know, you guys can definitely go and listen to this week's episode, Season 3 premiere, Season 3, Episode 1 of the Daniel and Georgia Show, because we mentioned the we link in the show notes the Love Warriors video series that you guys have on your Facebook page. So we link that, and then Georgia also said, and now I'll let you guys respond, but Georgia said that I'm an honorary warrior.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to respond to that?
Sure. For sure. We wanted to hear from the two of you as a couple, your experiences through the questions that we presented. And we felt like this would be something that you both could speak to. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be on your show and for the world to have the opportunity to hear from you. We
awesome.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we thought it's a perfect episode. Dan, you can speak?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, as you guys were kind of referencing, we are from a nonprofit organization called Opportunity Knocks. Georgia's been a warrior at Opportunity Knocks for several years now, pretty much since we started back in 2010. And right now, through Opportunity Knocks, Aniki and myself and our team, we are working on a video series called Love Warriors. And the idea is to, send a message of love out into the world. And we've got a different theme each week that we're trying to cover. And this week we're going to talk about love and this idea of invisibility, and kind of how that plays into what we're going through as a society and as a community and as people right now moving through the world. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we thought you and Georgia would have some valuable perspective on this topic, and as spokespeople in the community already, we thought you guys would be great people to connect with on this. So there's a little bit more context.
Awesome.
And, maybe Aniki could provide a little more detail on the kind of the idea behind Love Warriors and where that term kind of comes from and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yes. So we at Opportunity Knox were having a staff meeting to just kind of talk about the aftermath of George Floyd, right? Mm-hmm. And what was happening in the nation. Mm-hmm. We were doing a wellness check to just basically talk to everyone and just say, how are you doing? And how are you getting through? We talked a lot about love and the importance of it. And the question came up, how can we show love to one another in this time? Because that's what's missing. That's the cause of, the hatred, the anger, the racism, bigotry, prejudice, all of that. It's an absence of love. And so the question came up, how can we show love to one another? How can we be love to one another in a higher way? Because that's what wins the war, right? Mm-hmm. It wins the battles that we have every day and ultimately wins the entire war. Yeah. So after we had that meeting, during that meeting, it was mentioned that, we should have a love campaign. Love Grows Here is the theme for Knockout Farm. So I'm the farm coordinator and program leader for Knockout Farm, for Opportunity Knox's farm. And we talked about having just, this whole campaign. And after that meeting, I saw an interview with Dr. Cornel West. He was being interviewed by MSNBC's Brian Williams. And Dr. Cornel West, as a thought leader, began to break down beautifully, really, how we ended up here today. And he said, I'm looking for all the love warriors. Where are the love warriors? Where are the ones that come out and tell everyone, lead the way and tell everyone exactly how we should be, basically saving the day. And so it clicked, obviously, with Opportunity Knox. And we just thought that this would be a great way to give voice on the topic of invisibility. There were a lot of questions about the rioting and the looting and the protesting. And people, you can hear every day have questions about, like, why is this happening? And so in that anger and feeling like you're not being heard, that your voice is not being heard, no one sees me, no one cares, these things are happening to me and no one cares, that can produce what we've been seeing, the chaos that we've been seeing. And so we thought that warriors would be able to give special voice to, so if you're being ignored, a part of a marginalized group, discriminated against, because of how you look or your ethnicity or because you have unique challenges, it can make you feel invisible in the world. And so we wanted to find out from the warriors to speak to, look, in the voice of empathy, we understand what it feels like to be invisible. We understand what it feels like to be in a room and have something to say, and people discount your voice simply because you may have a unique challenge or you're different, than them in some way. So we thought this was an important conversation to have. And thank you so much for choosing to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, Aniki, because I actually answered the challenge question when Dan and I did the live studio in my back porch.
Yeah. And we'll go over it again right now. But I loved everything you said, Aniki, and hopefully I said your name correctly.
Yes, you did.
And so, quick side note, Opportunity Knox, the Warrior Catering, actually catered our 10-year celebration gala for Special Chronicles back in 2018, if you remember that.
Awesome.
Georgia didn't cater. She was a guest speaker, so.
Of course. Of course.
because she's the first in-studio co-host. And so she went from being the first in-studio co-host to now us. So, yeah. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And really, like, if you go back to, like, all the seasons, like season 1 of our Daniel and Georgia show, we really chronicle our entire relationship from when we were friends or when we first met all the way, through now. So it's really, it's a neat kind of journey people can take along with us. But yeah, so should we get started? Because since we're 20 minutes into the video, 17 minutes into the audio program, should we get going with the, and we'll let you guys Aniki, you and Dan take over as hosts for the rest of the episode.
Okay. So I would ask you, both of you, how do you feel that we can be loved to one another? How can we show more love to one another?
Well, you have to express your feelings sometimes to actually get that love. Mm-hmm. From my experience, as the word love, it would mean to be either in a circle of friends or the person that you really love the most, or be in a serious relationship. Mm-hmm. Because of those two reasons, I have over thousands of friends. I have fans of my own. But when I hear the word love, it's about how that word even really means. Mm-hmm.
And I think to add on to what Joe just said is, when I hear the word love, I think of like people smiling and like looking at like a true love. Like if you look on our at Daniel and Georgia Instagram, our personal Instagrams, but also just our at Daniel and Georgia Instagram page or Facebook page, like you've probably seen like a black and white picture of us looking at each other, and like that. I think that's like one example of like just that smile, like joyful smile. That's what I think of when I think of love.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. How do you create that smile? What is it about love? Or how do you know that you're loved? What are the ingredients? Because one of the things that we've gotten from talking to other warriors is that the importance of listening to one another is really, really important. Acknowledging that the other person has something important to say and letting them know that that's important to you to hear. So as an example, what are some other ways? How do you know that you're loved?
I think like caring.
When someone cares for you?
Or like even like now with technology, like texting, like getting a reply back. Like, even if someone doesn't reply back to your text, or even in person, but like through text, whatever, even if they don't reply back instantly, because like, yes, everything is instant now. Even if it's not instant, if they do eventually reply back and acknowledge, whether it's through an emoji, like I'm sure all of us use emojis, but like even like just in person, like as you show that you care, like through flowers or through cooking, or that's like, I'm not a good cook, but Georgia is a very excellent cook. And so, yeah.
Okay, now I'm blushing.
That happens a lot on this show and in real life.
Okay. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So you guys received the questionnaire. So we talked about the reason that we felt that the conversation about invisibility was so important. And there were two initial questions that you could start off with. So there was one that talked about thinking of a time that you were new in a situation. You were in a new and different setting. And it mentioned, it could be job or school. What ways did you feel different from others there? And what was your experience?
Well, my experience when I first met Dan for the first time, he is 6 feet. I'm 5'4", so I'm like 5 inches. So when people see me with a taller person, or something like that, they think that, wow, those two are really together. And besides the fact that he's super tall than me, he has this great sense of humor. He and I have a lot of things in common. The one thing that we do have in common is that we both met when I first started doing swimming. And then he took it to another level where he just found out he was a international team driver, global messenger. Yeah. He goes all around the entire world, and he goes to some of the world games. He went to Abu Dhabi. He went to
Dublin,
Ireland. Those are the only two that I can actually come up with. And then he was on the newspaper, and
Fox News.
What?
We can say Fox News.
And he was also on Fox News. So the other thing that we both have in common to actually have a serious relationship is that with all the sports that we have done, like together, I mean, besides swimming,
basketball.
I could go on and on, but I think Dan should answer back.
So, yeah, I guess to follow up with what Joe just said, I guess to answer your question, Aniki, which all these are awesome questions, but I guess a time when I felt that I was different was at seeing that both of us are in our early 30s and we're not in school anymore because Georgia just graduated college and I've been to school, and so now with jobs, at not my current job, because my current job and I can say it, United Airlines is awesome because it's awesome, and so really, I guess more like at other jobs I've had where they didn't think I could, and I'm not going to say those companies, organizations, places, because I just don't want to give those names out. But like those places that they didn't think I was capable of doing the job. Like they would demote me to something less than, and that made me feel, as much as, yes, they interacted with me, but that part of not being, like, not feel like I'm not able to do the job could kind of made me feel invisible to what I am able to do, like now with my current jobs.
Yes. Yeah. So I've heard the phrase used, don't diss my ability.
Yeah.
And how do you know if you don't give me the opportunity? Right? So, yeah, that's exactly why we felt this was important to do. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I think it's important to know for people who are the ones that can make others feel invisible, to know that the person on the other side of that can tell. They can tell. They feel that. They know exactly, there's a feeling and there's a weight with that. And so in your excellence, Daniel, I know you push through others' ignorance.
Yeah.
And lack of understanding to continue to excel. So Georgia, asking that question to you, because I know you talked about the height difference, but have you ever felt invisible because of unique challenges as a warrior? And can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, I had, as a warrior, I do sometimes feel invisible. But when I was in high school, it's a long story, but Cliff Notes version, I was invisible to everybody else. They didn't like the way that I looked. They kept teasing me until my sophomore year. So that was the worst year. Freshman year was the worst year for me. Let's see. Having the experience of being invisible is like if you're wearing the invisibility cloak, like from Harry Potter, that will cover your whole body and stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't think anybody want to actually feel like that. They need to branch out. They need to be more active. They need to actually go to places with friends and families, loved ones.
So, Georgia, you are a fierce thought leader, and your confidence and self-esteem is unmatched. It is unmatched. You just ooze. Honestly, you ooze with inspiration and with a go-get-it attitude. Where did you get that from? How did you, where does that come from?
I actually learned it from one of my parents.
Yeah.
That would be my mom. She and I have a lot of stuff in common. And because of my confidence in being a good leader, because I learned it from her. Because I was actually born a leader. I was born to be a global messenger along with Daniel. That's how he and I first met. She wanted me to speak out the truth. But as a global messenger, we send out speeches about what Special Olympics means to us. And for all of us athletes, along with Jose and Daniel and a couple of my other friends from Suburban or from OK or from Special Olympics, we wear our medals to actually show them what we actually did in our sports. So I've been doing that for about 14 years.
Wow.
That's when I was 14 years old. So I stopped doing that because I miss it so crazy because I want to talk about not just Special Olympics. I want to talk about how everything has been involved in my life. And the only person that does that is actually my boyfriend, Daniel.
Yeah.
And to kind of add on to what Georgia said, I think that's what, and I'm blanking on the question that you just asked us, but maybe that might help me to remember what I was going to say. But
okay. So personally to Georgia, I was asking her, her confidence level and her go-getter attitude.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah. So to add on to what Georgia said is that's that confidence and that go-to attitude, what she has, I'm also the same way. And I think that's tying it back to love, because this is Love Williams as the main topic of this discussion today. That's I think what makes Georgia and me a good life partners, makes us that's another kind of tying it in with that first question you asked us, which ties in with this question about how it's because we both share that confidence go to attitude, that's how we knew that we were good for each other, true love, like that's another way that we saw, and I guess anybody could see that in the person that they love when you both share those same confidence go to attitudes.
Well, we actually have a few nicknames, but basically we are the true Romeo and Juliet online.
And I was like,
I love it.
yeah, although like there was a one of our other SSIG, so instead of saying Southern Rival International Global Messenger, we abbreviated it as saying SSIGM because it's easier than saying the long title. And so there's 10 of us athlete leaders, and one of the other SSIGMs. So I'm one of 3 in the U.S., but then one of the other SSIGMs, Ian, is from Great Britain, and he actually told me that not just in like WhatsApp messages, because like we WhatsApp because he's in Great Britain, and that's what you do, you WhatsApp, and so. But he also told me that when we were hanging out in DC and hanging out in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Dublin and so that's something that kind of goes along with that whole love.
Well, with Dan's best friend, he kind of mentioned that I am Minnie Mouse and he's Mickey Mouse.
Oh yeah, that's something else that Ian said. Yeah. And if you want to meet Ian,
Why would he said that?
yeah,
Blushing again, Georgia.
we had.
I'm trying not to. It's just I need
That's
to.
so wonderful.
Yeah.
But so what I heard from you, Georgia and Daniel, is the importance of identity and feeling as you have a purpose. We all do, but kind of know what your purpose is. And you developed that, Georgia, it sounds like from a very young age. And so as global messengers, as GMs, you are also igniting that in others because people see you, especially for, others that have unique challenges, whatever they may be. It inspires them to know that I too can possess that. I too can, go after what it is that I want. Be a light. So thank you so much for being a light, especially in this dark time that we're in. We need more of you.
Yeah. And to kind of also say something else that you said, Aniki, that so 2 of our first listeners is Georgia's mom and my mom. Both of our moms are our first listeners. And something that I think both of them have said, that a tagline for Georgia and me, and in particular the Daniel and Georgia show, or as Georgia's mom says, the Georgia and Daniel show, but is that we both is love to inspire. And I think that ties in with what you said, and because Georgia and me both love to inspire others, but our love story also inspires other love stories, like your love story and Dan's love story and our listeners' love stories. So I don't know if that hopefully ties in with what you said, how we love to inspire.
Absolutely. The other word I heard, whether you said it or it just became fruit of this conversation, is encouragement. So that's really important. And I think that's what's needed for the next generation is really, when you think about children, identity, really letting them know that they have a purpose. They're put here to answer, a problem. The world's full of them. Take your choice, right? pick and choose, what it is that you can come here and solve. But then you also need the encouragement. And so when you don't have that, because you have a unique challenge, you're different, when we look at, the ingredients of racism, right? Discounting someone else because of the color of their skin or their ethnicity or their culture. The things that you all have experienced, that's obviously not love. And within that, it fights against identity. It fights against purpose. It's discounting that someone is here to actually give something wonderful to the world. So Man, thank you. I'm inspired. I'm truly inspired. I feel like, what am I going to do after this Zoom? I need to put my hands to the plow, do something. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this excellent conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to hear, guys, as you share your stories, what motivates you to tell your story, and why do you feel like it is important to have this platform for you guys to share your stories with others? Like, what kind of drives that forward?
That's a really hard question for me to answer.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, Dan, can you help me out here?
Yeah, because we love each other, we help each other out. And so that's a great question, Dan, and it kind of ties in with what both Georgia and I are, which is self-advocates for others with, like ourselves, with intellectual disabilities or different abilities, and ties in with what's on my desk behind me, which is this, from the Elk of Illinois 2020 Self-Advocacy Award. But I think this also kind of ties in with Georgia too. And so to kind of help to answer the question is, I think why it's important for us to use this platform, this podcast, so Special Chronicles is like the NPR, the National Public Radio, for those of us with different abilities, because like we have a bunch of different podcasts where we'll sharing our stories. And what's good to have the fact that we're able to share our stories on this independent platform is it goes beyond just freedom of speech. It goes beyond back when Georgia and I were growing up, and even when you guys were growing up, people like us were invisible. People didn't take time. Even sometimes our special ed teachers, sometimes our case managers they would listen, and I'm using quotes for our podcast listeners who can't see us right now, but go to the YouTube and you can watch us. And don't really take the time to really see or hear, really listen, like what you said about listening to us. They don't take the time to listen. And by us having this platform to share our stories, our listeners, our viewers, our mainstream community is able to understand us. And they're able to understand that we can love each other, that we can love others, that we can really, Special Olympics International will be putting out a quote related to this same topic. And so I'm not going to give too much away to the quote, but what I will say to that is we share our stories also on this platform to show people that we show love to people who show us hate. Like this, with so much going on with George Floyd and all the protests and riots, there's so much hate. And so that what Georgia and I and people like us, we show love to the people that show us hate. Yeah. And we could get into a whole other discussion, and I'm just going to say, I'll end it with saying that, and say stay tuned to at Special Olympics International's social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, because they're gonna use a quote where I go into detail about that.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
So does that answer your question, Dan?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Beautifully.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when we talk about this word diversity, a lot of people, I feel like, often think of that solely as like racial diversity, which of course is extremely important. But we need all types of perspectives and all types of stories and all types of diversity. So racial, religious, gender, sexuality, disability, I think understanding stories from all these different diverse communities makes the world a more understanding, equitable, just place. So I appreciate you guys contributing to that. And when I scroll Netflix or when I scroll online on the web, I don't see that many disability stories out there. And I think we need more, and the world needs to hear those stories more.
Well, awesome. Thank you. And that's exactly what we and what our team at Special Chronicles has been doing. This November will be 12 years. So over a decade at specialchronicles.com has been sharing our stories. And we probably need to keep getting those stories out there, but like things like partnering with like Opportunity Knocks and Special Chronicles, like this is a joint partnership of both of our organizations sharing the stories. Special Olympics is launching an athlete leadership learning series with athlete lounges, and so like all these different places getting our stories out there, I think is what will help hopefully more people like you, Dan, to see our stories out there.
Yes.
Does Georgia want to add to that? Babe?
I think you got everything covered.
Awesome.
When you guys think about your story and your message and kind of your mission with Special Chronicles, how would you kind of sum that up? Or how would you describe it to, someone who's not familiar in just a couple sentences of, what is your main story, your main message?
We've got our mission, which is on the back of the T-shirt. I don't know, can you guys see on the back of my T-shirt?
Giving respect in a voice to people with special needs.
Yeah. So I think, does that kind of answer your question? We have, just like you guys have, between Knox have a board of directors, we have a board of directors too at Special Chronicles. My dad is the business manager, and something that my dad always comes back to me at, and I'm glad because that's why you have a board to remind you of your mission. There could all be all these submissions and all these submissions, but something like my dad always makes sure to let us know that through all this programs and podcasts and videos and messages that we're getting out, it all comes back to what you just asked us, Dan, is what's that one mission? And I think it goes back to what's on the back of my T-shirt right now. And I apologize for our podcast listeners can't see us, but Georgia, if Georgia wants to read that again on the back of my T-shirt.
Move that way.
Well, you know the mission, so you could just say the mission. You could just say the mission.
Like that. You have to turn around.
You could just say the mission.
Okay. Giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
We need to get some more of these shorts printed, but did that answer your question, Dan?
That does, definitely. And I think that's, super appropriate with our theme today of invisibility and love and, what we're trying to capture here.
Awesome. Well, I hope that this not only does the audio podcast I hope that we can get tens of downloads, because as you know, people could be listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the different places. But in addition to the podcast downloads, I hope we can get a lot. It can go viral podcast-wise, but also video-wise on YouTube or Facebook. If our video producer is listening to us right now, he should know that we should put this up on Facebook Watch. A little note to him. Great. But so yeah, I'll turn it back to Dan, you and Nikki, because we've got about 15 minutes left of our episode.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. We're at 46 minutes, so we can go on.
Okay. And do you want to ask that wonderful question? You know what I mean? You know the question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You want me to go for it, or you want to?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, all right, for sure. So Daniel, you talked a little bit about some of your previous jobs and sort of people kind of meeting you or maybe reading your resume or learning about you and kind of making these assumptions and assuming that you can't do something or having these certain expectations or assumptions about who you are and what you can't do probably is from what I understand.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstanding there. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings.
Yeah, and so what Aniki and I have talked about with some of our other warriors and with some of the other stories that we've heard, we feel like a lot of what is going on in this moment in the Black Lives Matter movement that has, been gaining so much deserved momentum right now. A lot of that stems from this feeling of misunderstanding and people feeling like they're not being heard, they're not being seen, they're not being valued. Working in the disability community and talking to friends and, friends with disabilities, we understand that this is a feeling that is not new to you guys, this feeling of being misunderstood or whatnot. So we're curious to hear, when people meet you, when people see you, what do you hope that they see? And what do you hope that they understand about you?
I hope they see love that we show, that I show, and that Georgia shows, and that people like us show love to everybody, including the people that show us hate, and that they see our smile. They see our. I'm kind of taken from what the world's first fitness model with Williams syndrome from down in Brisbane, Australia, said. But I'm gonna say it as well, that I hope that they also see our disability, both of our developmental disabilities, as a gift. That it's a gift. That it's not something we can't do. Yes, there's stuff that we can't do, but I hope that they see, in addition to seeing our love and joy and smile and confidence, but they also see and love when we're met with hate, but they also see our disability as a gift.
Awesome. Georgia, do you want to touch on anything there? What do you hope people see when they see you, or what do you hope they understand when they meet you for the first time, maybe?
Well, the first time, when people look at me, they keep staring at me, and the first time when they actually saw me, it was my first year working at Trader Joe's. I was bagging groceries, and this random customer came up and said, "Who let the retard to come in and bag for us?" I was standing right there, and when I heard it, that customer made me cry all the way down to the bathroom. And now I am not a retard. I'm this amazing person who does their job perfectly well. But ever since that memory, I'm just not that kind of a person. I'm trying to help others, and now I'm handling snarky people. I have to hold my ground and actually not try and lose it. So, yeah.
I'm sorry you had that experience, Georgia. Nobody should be talked to that way or treated that way or to be in earshot of that. So we know that was ignorance in someone, so meaning not knowing, but also that person may not have received what your parents have so beautifully given you. which is a sense of purpose and a sense of identity and encouragement. And sometimes when people are, void of that, it comes across that way. They, not to excuse, but, absence of love in people's lives sometimes, can cause them to be cruel. And so thank you for standing your ground. Thank you for choosing to be loved. Even in that moment, when you could have had a lot of things to say back, as you said, showing love when others show hate. That's what wins. That was a battle you won. That ultimately wins the whole war. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Can I just quickly add on to what Georgia said?
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia said something that people used to stare at her, that the people used to stare at you, Georgia. And I just want to say, when I first met Georgia, which was, I don't know, both of us are not good at math, but along maybe more than 10, we've been dating 5 years, so more than about 10 years ago. When I stared at Georgia, it was because I saw somebody that was so cute and attractive and beautiful.
Oh, Georgia, blush.
So
This is what my boyfriend does. He always makes me blush.
just wanted to add that on there.
Thank you, babe. I love you too.
Oh, sweet.
So,
Well, yeah.
did we want to
Thank you guys for sharing your story.
Well,
I'm thinking of Sorry, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. I was just going to say, one thing I respect about what you guys are doing here is your, defining yourself and defining your stories for yourself. And you're not letting anybody else do that for you. You're not letting anybody else's judgments or opinions define you.
He's cut. He's breaking up. Dan's breaking up a little bit. Does Dan want to maybe just turn his audio on?
Yeah, hang on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. This conversation, I was reminded of this Audre Lorde quote. And I pulled it up here, and it says, "If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive." And I think it's a really powerful quote. And I think, what you guys are doing here with your show and all the work that you do as self-advocates is you're defining yourselves for yourself, and you're not letting other people's misperceptions or misunderstandings crush you. And, so shout out to you guys for that. And just kind of wanted to share that quote. If you have any reaction to it, you're welcome to share.
Can you say that quote again, just for listeners?
Sure. So again, this is Black feminist Audre Lorde. She writes, "If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive." And so to me, that speaks to the importance of sharing your voice and sharing your story. And I think that's exactly what you guys are doing here.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're doing here, not just with the Daniel and Georgia show, but also through Special Chronicles and exactly, because we're not letting the label of, a lot of times we hear use the D card, meaning use our disability card. We're not using the label. We are using our voice and not using the label to define us. We are defining we are defining our own story since our very early age, since before, like since we were born, and even before you're born, because like both Georgia and I, we have gone through a lot of challenges from when we were born, and even today. But we're not letting that, like we are defining our own story. Hopefully that ties in with responding to that quote.
It does, for sure.
So, awesome. Well, is there anything else that we want to touch on before, and maybe what we can do is, so when we put the audio podcast up with the video on specialchronicles.com and DanielandGeorgia.com, by the way, people can go there, go to DanielandGeorgia.com to stay in touch with us. You can subscribe to our newsletter and donate as well. If people want to do that, they can text GIVE to 833-953-2598. That's text GIVE to 833-953-2598. And if they, I guess, can either Aniki and Dan, if one of you guys wanted to kind of sum up this past hour on the main topics that we talked about, do you guys want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. And so because we have a couple minutes left of this hour, we want to try to, instead of this being a 2-hour show or an hour and a half, we want to try to keep this to an hour. Before Georgia and I share how people can get in touch with us on this show, the Daniel and Georgia Show, which Georgia's going to go grab she has all the information that it's basically from DanielandGeorgia.com, but which I just put up some new graphics. So, Aniki and Dan, I hope you and all our listeners go to DanielandGeorgia.com and check out the new graphics, the new pictures that we have up there. But maybe we could give some plugs, some time to kind of, as we wrap up, plugs for Opportunity Knocks, Love Warriors, The Farm, which one of these days, so my cousin and her boyfriend / husband, kind of, I guess, they just moved from DC to, Champaign, but they moved to Oak Park. And my cousin just texted me the address. Keep in mind, they've been in Oak Park for the past year. He just texted me the whole address. So shows how much we communicate, but okay. So one of these days I've got to come out to the farm and, maybe we could do like a live episode of the Daniel and Georgia Show, or the Special Chronicles show, or both.
That would be perfect.
We could do one show and put it in both podcasts, right? So, yeah. So maybe we can give Aniki, maybe you can plug the Opportunity Knocks Farm, and then Dan, and how people can follow on social media, website, and in person. And then Dan, because you're the program director for Opportunity Knocks, maybe you can give all the plugs for Opportunity Knocks for our listeners.
Well, actually, Dan, before we go, I just want you to know that Dan was the program director.
Oh, okay.
But he's not. But Dan, if you are watching this, I just want you to know that you were the best thing that ever happened to me.
Which Dan? Which Dan?
Dan Inman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, and I'm not the best thing happened to you? No.
Look at this. It's the Blush Show.
It's what?
Actually, one of my friends is actually the program director. His name is Oscar. His contact.
Okay.
Add him to
an upcoming show. Okay. But so Aniki, do you want to plug the farm, and then Dan, do you want to give us what your real job title is, and plug Opportunity Knocks, so whatever. We'll let ladies go first.
Okay. So Knockout Farm is one part of a 3-part social enterprise. So it's Knockout Farm, it's Knockout Catering, and then Knockout Pickles. So from Knockout Farm, we provide all of not all of it, but most of the produce that's used in Knockout Catering, and also we grow the cucumbers that are used to create Knockout Pickles. Awesome. We're located right next to Reuse Depot that's located at 50 Madison Street. That's Maywood, Illinois. And if anyone wants to find out how they can perhaps volunteer to help us out, you can go to opportunityknocksnow.org and go directly to the Knockout Farm page and sign up.
Awesome. And we'll put, to make it easier for our listeners in the show notes, we'll put a direct link to the farm as well as Opportunity Knocks, but a direct link to the farm page, so people can, instead of like clicking here, like typing in here, or clicking here, going there, they can just go to specialchronicles.com/DanielandGeorgiaShow, click on this episode, season 3, episode 2, and then click on the link, the direct link to the farm. So, okay. And you can send that to, so the show prep for this show was all through a group text, not email, but text. So you can text the links that you want us to put in the show notes.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Dan?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us. This was great. Aniki, I know you always so beautifully discussions and things like that, and I feel like I was taking up a lot of space toward the end there. So did you have anything else you wanted to say to kind of wrap up the conversation that we just had, or anything else you wanted to say about the Love Warriors campaign as we and then I can plug our social media and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that I would borrow from the ministry that I attend in saying that this is war. This is a war. There's a war on love, and we're fighting back. So thank you so much again for an opportunity to hear your voices. And thank you so much for choosing to be global messengers and for speaking the truth, for speaking your truth and the truth that we all share and need to be reminded of. Thank you for that, that love wins the day. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Good.
Well, Aniki, I just want you to know that I am your love warrior, no matter what.
Thank you. And we'll thank you for helping to co-lead this podcast conversation. I think we're going to title this episode Love Warriors. And I think we should, if it's not taken already, I think we should start that hashtag Love Warriors. Is that a hashtag? Oh, is there a hashtag for this?
It should be. Yeah, we'll start it here.
Hashtag Love Warriors?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start, so hopefully everybody listening so tag us, hashtag Daniel and Georgia's show, and include hashtag Love Warriors. Awesome.
And you can follow Opportunity Knocks on Instagram at OK Warriors, on Facebook at Opportunity Knocks. You can find us online at opportunityknocksnow.org to stay in tune with the latest updates. Yeah, we've got one Love Warriors video out so far. We're going to have at least 3 more.
Is this going to be one?
Coming out on about basis because I was living overseas for a while, but still, staying connected with the mission as much as possible. So follow us, stay in tune, and thanks again for having us on Special Chronicles.
And the Daniel and Georgia show. Yeah. And this is going to be, and it comes full circle. Australia, beginning of the show, Down Under, you. And with that, whoops! I've got another conference call to get on in 10 minutes, so we should wrap this up. But yeah, thanks for the plugs, and George and I will give all plugs to to us and the Daniel and Georgia Show. And I don't know if you guys can see my phone, the picture, but
yes.
See that banner at the top that I just made?
I love it.
Awesome banner. So DanielandGeorgia.com. You can go get all the links to listen and watch us. There's a link to stay in touch with us, which will subscribe you to the Special Chronicles company list. But it's the emails will be coming from us, and so yeah, I'll let my love give us how to get in touch with us.
Okay, so on the Daniel and Georgia Show, this is our contact information. You can private message us on Facebook Messenger, m.me/DanielandGeorgia. You could email us, DanielandGeorgia@SpecialChronicles.com. You can tag us on social media, hashtag Daniel and Georgia Show. You can tweet us, hashtag Daniel and Georgia Show. You could call us and send a voice message.
And you can find all that on, if you are driving, like Dan is driving, and he can't type. And if you can't type because you're driving like Dan is driving, then just go to DanielandGeorgia.com. Our show page is SpecialChronicles.com/Daniel and Georgia Show. But just go to DanielandGeorgia.com, go to SpecialChronicles.com, subscribe to us, and you can find more uplifting stories. Like Dan is in search of finding uplifting stories, positive stories of those of us with different abilities. SpecialChronicles.com and DanielandGeorgia.com is where you can go. So thanks. We hope you all will remember to show compassion, show unconditional love when you're met with hate. Use hashtag LoveWarriors, Daniel and Georgia Show, where you can join in the conversation with those tags. And until next time, we hope that you all will love to inspire. Right? Oh,
Yes.
and I forgot. Last time we had our mascot, Balks, Doggy.
Oh,
Doggy
boy.
Balks. Doggy Balks. We had Balks. Okay, so Aniki and Dan, it's a gift that I surprised. I gave Georgia for her 31st birthday last July, where I surprised a country club, a golf country club, with I asked one of the staff to get the country club people to sing her a happy birthday in this country club. And so I gave her this Balks, and now at the end of every episode of the Daniel and Georgia Show, Balks has the final word. So we hope you all have enjoyed. Now Balks doesn't have to call in, because this week's episode I called Georgia's phone, but it was Balks' voice. So like we muted the phone. We muted the phone. I'm giving the secrets away, but we muted the phone and Balks talked. So with that, as we hope everybody have enjoyed this enlightening discussions. Georgia's mom actually commented on Instagram and said that we are having enlightening conversations on this program and all of our podcasts at Special Chronicles and Daniel and Georgia Show. But we'll have Balks, Doggy, Balks, whatever the name is. Clearly, I'm an expert at names. Clearly, I'm not. Clearly, Georgia is. And so Balks will have the last word, and then we'll play our little outro ID thing.
My name is Bugs, and I love you. Welcome to the Daniel and Georgia Show. Bye-bye.
And we'll see you next week.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I'm going to go ahead and hit stop on this audio. That was an hour and 10 minutes. Let me just double check that it recorded. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead. You guys want to say anything else to our video viewers before I hit stop on the video and live stream?
This was my very first podcast ever, and I am so happy that it was with you guys.
Awesome. So
wonderful. This was wonderful.
So, Anika, I was going to get the audio podcast posted by Sunday when we usually have shows go live at 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern. whatever it is, Pacific and Mountain on Sundays. But I think because because the video is already up on YouTube, and I don't want to hit private on the video, I just want to let more people watch it and listen. I think if it's okay with you, Anika and Dan and Georgia, I think I'm going to just get the audio podcast posted before I go to work at United tomorrow. I think I'm just going to get the audio podcast up there. Is that cool with everyone?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah, man. And if you could share the files with us,
yeah,
if that's possible.
Yeah, we will. Hold on. Let me go